then I will, of course, share it on my different things.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, good morning. It's Marsha Glide with Levity Leadership. And if it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Happens. It's a chance for us to look back at Monday and Tuesday and kind of take that curve in the road and change where we're at to get what we need done for Thursday and Friday so we can meet all of our goals. Today, I have a guest that you're going to want to hold on to every single word. She is a money relationship coach. And I'm so excited to have Jo Ousterhout with me today. Jo, how are you today?
Hi, hello, how are you?
I am so excited to have you here today because I know that money and our relationship with our money, right, always holds us back.
Yes.
So go ahead and introduce everybody, yourself to everybody. And give us, why did you get into this kind of work, and why is it your passion, and what does it mean to have a relationship with our money?
Well, sure. I'm Jo Ousterhout. As Marsha said, I'm a financial coach, a money coach. I work primarily with women. I've always been all about women, right? In my career, I was a banker for a long time. I've done a bunch of different entrepreneurial things. So I have that Wall Street experience. I have an MBA from Wharton. And so I'm sort of a numbers person. But what I've realized is, in my career, but then also through meeting many women over time, is that so many of us really struggle with our money. For various reasons. And we can't really have a world of equality between men and women if women don't have a better relationship with their money. It just won't happen because money is such a piece of energy that we all use to get what we want, right? And Marsha, you're in my coach, Suzanne Evans she says, money may not be the most important thing, but it touches everything that is. And that's so true. So a couple of years ago, I transitioned from the business I was doing, which was getting more women involved in politics, to really help women have a better relationship with money so that they can get the dream they want, so that they can take the vacation they want, walk up to that ticket counter without feeling, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this? To approach the year-end holidays in a spirit of, generosity and happiness instead of cringing at the thought of, oh my gosh, January, the bills are going to come in. To be able to not wake up at 3 a.m. and think, oh my God, what am I going to do in my retirement? Am I going to have to work until I'm 80 years old? So it's all of those things.
Wow. I have so many questions because you just hit on so many things. So let's start with, you said money is energy.
Yes, because you can tell it is, because yes, it's a physical thing, although in many cases today it's not physical, right? Because it's just putting down a credit card or Apple Pay or whatever, you don't even see it. But it clearly, you can tell it's energy because it's something that we think about and stress about and spend time on, right? And so it is energy in that sense of taking part of our life, our concentration, our thoughts, on how we're going to do it better. And it's clearly a very emotional issue for people too. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you think about money and energy being positive or negative, and we don't have a good relationship with our money, that's just negative energy in our lives. When we have a good relationship, then we have more positive energy.
It's stress. Yeah. I think it's 73% of Americans say the number one stressor in their lives is money.
It is.
And when you talk to older women about what they wish they had done when they were younger around a lot of topics, one that always comes up is, I wish I had taken care of my money better. I wish I had planned, that I had a plan so that I can do what I want now that I'm older in retirement, say. Yeah.
And how do you change that thought with people? Is it too late? I mean, when is it too late? I guess when you're in the ground. But when is it too late? to start?
Well, we never think it's too late for other things, right? We never think it's too late, say, to start an exercise program, to start walking or lifting light weights or learning some yoga or learning to meditate. So we take care of ourselves in all these other ways, these physical ways, emotional ways, mental ways. No one would ever say it's too late to start, exploring your relationship with spirituality, or to start, working on your relationship with your family members. No one would ever say it's too late with that. So why is it too late for your money? I argue that it's not. And you can start with doing small things, just like you start with any other kind of program, right? If you're building a business or wanting to learn to run a marathon or learning a new language, you start small. You start with small steps and you just keep going, and you look back in, months or a year, and you've really progressed. So you don't have to topic. I just going to say, you don't have to tackle the topic all at once. I mean, you don't go out and run 5 miles the first day if you've never run before, or if you do, you're probably pretty sore the next day. So it's not advised. Yeah.
So Barbara Menino, welcome, Barbara. So good to have you here. She said what I was just going to say, that was a good point, and that we don't have to start and jump in, eat the whole elephant in one bite. Because I say the same thing with what I work on, right? Is that if you know where you want to go, you can't get there by the one giant leap. You got to take the small little steps, summit to summit to summit. And, you mentioned so many, oh my God, you just like, you're singing from my hymn book, because, I'm all about self-care. You got to put yourself first to take care of all those around you, right? And if you're not in that space of taking care of yourself emotionally and spiritually and physically, right? And money touches on all of those things. It's not just in one category. It fits in, and there's so many self-care experts to say, oh, financial is one of the self-care topics, but I feel like it fits in because it's really under every single one. And I believe in 3: emotional, physical, and spiritual. And money fits all that. And, I want to touch on happiness for a minute, because that's, my other passion, right? We're going to have fun and we're going to be happy. Damn it, if it kills us, we're going to be fun and
hopefully it
won't. Right, hopefully it won't, right? Because then we don't have to worry about our money and all the other stuff. But you said money brings happiness. And I want to just make one, it's not the amount of money. And I want to see, do you agree with it? It's not the amount of money. It's having the right amount that you need.
Yes. I think what I said is money is, which I agree with Suzanne on this, money is, maybe not the most important thing, but it touches on everything that is. So you're exactly right where you say money touches on all these other things. And I think a lot of times when people say money, they're thinking about, their investments or the money that they have saved for retirement. But money does flow through all these other areas of our lives. I mean, we live in America, right? The business of America is business. We are all consumers. Money does flow through everything. Sorry, and you said something about, go back to your points, because I had one other thing I wanted
about money being happiness, and it not being the amount of money, it's having the right amount of money.
So one thing that's really interesting when you survey women about money is that we are more interested in what we can do with our money and the people and causes and effect we can have with our money than we are in just accumulating it and saying, I have more than you do. Mm-hmm. We don't tend to use money itself as a way of keeping score. I have a bigger retirement portfolio than you do. You have a bigger house than me. We don't do those kinds of things as much. We look at more, do I have, just like you said, the right amount of money to do what I want to do in my life, to help, my kids go to college, or an extended family member put down a deposit on a new home, or to help a friend of mine start their new business, or, invest in a political candidate, or invest in a not-for-profit that we really like, whether that's, education for kids, or helping with food, or rescue animals, whatever it is. We want to help our community, either small or large or both, with our money. That's what women want the money for. So we don't have to be Kim Kardashian. We don't have to think of wealth in that kind of extreme, because most of us won't ever have that. So it is what we want to do. And most of us, I should say many of us, can make a plan and stick to that plan to get those things that we want.
Wow. I love that. I love that because, you mentioned everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses here in America, right? And it's not about
our national pastime.
Right. It's not about what your neighbor's doing. It's about what you're able to do. And it may be that if you take your money and you know how to spend it, right, or how you're going to spend it, right, then you have time, you have some that you can put to charitable, make those contributions that you want and make that give back and save, for what you want, and it's retirement. It's so we don't think about that because we're so busy running life.
Yeah. The other thing that we're busy doing, and probably, for a lot of us, a little less of this in the last year because so many of us have been more at home, but we just consume a lot. We do. And so I was talking to a woman the other day and she said, well, I can't afford to work with you. And I said, okay, let's just talk about what you're spending money on now. And she said, oh, I don't really spend any money. And I said, okay, you have a home? She goes, yeah. And I said, so utilities? And she goes, yeah, utilities. I said, rent or mortgage? She goes, oh yeah, mortgage. And you have kids and they're teenagers. So you must be somehow, you're feeding them or you're giving them money or, oh yeah, then I give them some spending money and my kid in college, first year, I do this and this. And then, what she meant was I'm not spending any money on myself for things that I think of as quote unquote spending money. But it turned out that she had bought some relatively expensive, like thousands of dollars, low thousands of dollars services over the past few months. And maybe she needs them, but she didn't consider that spending. And I find that when one of the first things I have all my clients do is really go back and look at their spending over the course of a year, because now everything, we have is digitized, our bank statements, our credit card statements. It's easy to pull those things up. And most of the companies, the financial companies, have them even categorized for us, right? Travel, entertainment, food, whatever. So it's easy to sort of see where we're spending. And most people, honestly, are really, really surprised at where their money's going. And often too, in fact, I would say probably 3/4 of the time, there are things where they go, oh my God, I'm spending on that much on that? No, I really don't. That's not what I want to do. When I see that number in aggregate, I'd really rather take that or 50% of it and put it towards my retirement or give it as a gift or do something more bigger, more meaningful with it, as opposed to just spending it on, coffees or
you had to go there.
After work or whatever. I know, but it's such a trite example, unfortunately, but it's true.
No, it really is. And it reminds me of a client, like my first coaching client when I started my business, and you know how we are. We'll take anything, right? You want to pay me $1, I'm going to do it, right? And it was around coaching her around her money, about budgeting and what to do. And when we went back and did that exercise, and we didn't even go over a year, we went back 3 months to begin with to see if there was any kind of trend. And the amount of money that went into Starbucks coffees, okay, and I'm sure you see it all the time, was like, oh my God, okay, OMG, right? It was that OMG moment. And I'm like, this is why, what would you do with that money if you didn't spend, $5 plus a day on coffee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Go every other day at the beginning. Go every, what do you really, what could you have instead?
What could you have instead?
What would you do instead?
The thing is that when you think of the instead, you're thinking, oh, the instead, though, is the trip that I really want to take, my daughters on when they graduate from college. But that trip I know is going to cost, I'm making this number up, $3,500. But I'm only spending $5 today on the coffee. So you don't equate those things, but you don't think, but every day you're spending $5 on the coffee, and then you're probably treating some friends, and then your coffee, is it really $5? Or by the time you get on those add-ons, is it more like, $6.75 or something? And then sometimes you buy a bagel to go with it.
Yes. You go in, you don't know what you're coming out with, right?
No. And the other thing about that is today, what's really, really a money drain for so many people. And this is something for everybody to check now, especially after being at home, in the pandemic for basically a year. What little small subscription services did you add that you don't really get the benefit from? So did you add the $5.99 a month Acorn channel from the UK? Or did you add another, you had Netflix maybe, did you add Hulu? Did you add this or that? Did you start getting some deliveries of things that you maybe don't need to get delivered now? Did you, so many of my women clients use something like, Stitch Fix, or a Rent the Runway, but a clothing service, either a rental clothing service like Rent the Runway, or one where you're buying things. But do you really need to? If you do, great, but look and see what you're really spending. So you're spending, I don't know off the top of my head what a Stitch Fix, sort of basic package is, but then you're probably buying some clothes along with that, and you're getting that delivery every month, and it's cool. I get it. I did it for a while. I loved it, but I decided in the end I wasn't getting the benefit from that.
That's right.
And I know what I want to do with my money, and it's not Stitch Fix. Unfortunately, sorry, I'm not slamming you. I think you have a great service. I'm just saying that for me, spending money that way was not what I wanted to do in comparison to if I didn't spend that money, what I would use it on.
Yeah, and that's interesting because that is definitely, it's not in the category of need. And I remember I tried to teach my 2 children when they were, I want to say 11 and 15, right? There's things of needs and wants, right? We have the things that we need, like air, water, and clothing, right? Or roof over our head, whatever you want to say, right? And then there are all the things that we just want. Right. Now, this is a little bit different, right? Because it's really a matter of what, and maybe it's not, right? Is what you have a need, right? If the Starbucks coffee is a need, okay, then you're going to have to give it up somewhere else, right? To get to your plan.
Most
but really making that, and making that decision between you of really is, how is it benefiting you, right?
And that's where a plan comes in.
Yes.
If you have a plan, it's easier to see A, your progress towards your plan, but B, then you have these goals and you want to achieve them. Like, for instance, if we go back to one of the getting fit kind of metaphors, let's say that you decided you want to run a marathon in a year. Well, there's a zillion programs out there that you can have a plan, and you build up to running that 26.2 miles. And so it gives you something to follow, and you can see, oh yeah, when I started, I could barely run around the block, and now a few months in, I'm routinely running, 6 miles a day or something like that. You see your progress, and so you feel good about it. But if you don't see your progress, then you don't. So there's a couple things. One is you need to know where you are now. So you need to know where you're spending your money. You need to know where you want to go. And then you develop the plan to get there. It's 3 steps. It's not difficult. It's just so few of us do it.
So I want to welcome my lovely husband who's watching. And in the chat, he wanted to know, is vinyl a need or a want?
I think it's kind of.
So I'm not even going to let you get into our own marital.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's a dangerous one to answer, right?
That really is, and I'm not going to answer it either. So, but welcome, and I'm really glad you're here. And I also see that Sierra's here, and again, Barbara's here, and she's just chatting it up with us. So we're glad you guys are here. I always find this is a conversation that everybody always thinks about money as how do I make more? How do I have more? And this is not that. This is not about. It's about what are you doing with the money that you have, and how do you live with the money that you have, and then it kind of shows you, do you need to make more, and maybe that means growing your business to the next level, or it means taking on that side hustle, or whatever it means to get what you need, or pay off your credit cards, or whatever you need to do to get to that point that you need to be. So how do you feel about that? Like you said, the first step is looking at where you're spending. You create a plan, and then once you're living where it works, what would be the next step?
Well, one of the things that I think that this is a mistake that many of us make, is that we think that by maybe growing our business or getting a higher paying job, maybe a promotion, or shifting to a new company where they're going to pay us a little more, or maybe changing industries, we think that's going to solve the problem. And what actually happens in most of those cases is, the adage, work expands to fill the time available. Now it's like your spending expands to fill the money available. It just sort of happens that way. The way that you actually get to the place that you can achieve a lot of your goals is by investing, so that your money starts making money for you. So yes, you have your salary or your income from your entrepreneurial activities or your side hustle, but you putting money away, and that money is also making money for you on the side. And of course, as that pot grows, it's making more and more for you. And that is what actually propels you into being able to have some of those longer term goals. It's really unlikely that you will get there based on just your salary.
Right. We live within
compensation, however you want to define that. Yeah.
I love that. I just want to make sure everybody understands you're not an investment person. You are.
No, right. I don't provide investment advice. I mean, I've passed the exam to be able to do that, but I don't do that. My goal is to get people comfortable with the concept of investing, and then give them some simple tips about investing so they can start doing it on their own. Most of us don't need a financial advisor. We don't need a professional. If you want one, that's different, but we don't actually need them, because most of us don't have enough of a complicated situation, or frankly enough money, to warrant that professional advice. Nothing wrong with it at all. No, and there are many great advisors. Yeah, personal choice. Then of course it's another cost. It is.
And I know. It's like that, that ever revolving, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? The more chickens I have, the more eggs, or the more eggs, the more chickens.
But if you're someone who wants that help, and I met a woman the other day, and she said, I'm making good money. I use a financial advisor. I just want to check in every 3 to 6 months and know that my money is doing well, and that's all I'm really interested in. Fine. She's got her plan in place. She's executing her plan. She checks in with her advisor, makes sure that, her money is doing what she wants. She doesn't want to know more about it. That's great. She's doing the smart things.
Yeah. So we have to wrap up, and I'm so sad. Will you come back so we can finish this?
Of course. I would love to.
Awesome. So I want to tout you a little bit. So Jo is on Clubhouse every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Almost every Friday. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, because I've had to change that because of some scheduling issues. But many Fridays. It's called
Many Fridays. You can see Jo on Clubhouse, and she does an amazing room talking and answering all your questions about money. So I wanted to tout that for you. But you do have a special gift for those that are listening. If you want to share that.
Yes. Great. Thanks. This is the link to get a free 20-minute call with me, Your Next Step to Wealth, where we can discuss exactly what you need to be doing to develop your plan and achieve those dreams that you have. So please take advantage of that, and I would love to see you.
Absolutely. Everybody listening on our podcast and the rerun and the replay and everything else, please take Jo up on that, because the things that you're going to realize and learn from her is priceless. So thank you for doing that. So what I like to do at the end of every one of my shows before I sign off is ask a fun question. So we've been talking a lot about Starbucks and coffee today. So when I come back after closing this show, I would love for you to tell us what is your favorite or your most favorite Starbucks or coffee drink or tea drink, because not all of us are coffee drinkers. So I'm going to just close the show and then I'll be back to so we can get your answer. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. You know, if it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Happens, and you can find me on all your favorite podcast streaming. Okay, please go out and like it. Please go out and subscribe, and please share it with your friends and family. And if you want to talk to either Jo, you have her link, or me, please let us know, because we'd love to chat with you. So, Jo.
Thank you so much, Marsha, for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and those listening on or watching on replay. And so my favorite drink is actually from a little neighborhood coffee place. It's called Colada Shop here in DC, and they do this thing that's called a cortadito, which is like an espresso, but then they have 3 sweets that you can get it. You can get it Miami sweet, which is so sweet it'll knock your head off, or unsweetened. I get medium sweet. So that's my absolute favorite.
Oh my God! Next time we're in DC, we're gonna
Colada Shop. It's great coffee.
Oh my God! It's just I think I have to go get more coffee after talking to you. Anyway, Jo, thank you so much, and everybody.
Thank you,
Have
everyone.
a great day. Go make it happen.
Happy Hump Day.